Welcome to the continuation of our Kanban University Distinguished Fellow program. I'm Todd Little, Chairman of Kanban University, and today I have the privilege of introducing Susanne Bartel. Susanne, congratulations on being named a Distinguished Kanban University Fellow, and love to hear a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks, Todd, and thanks for inviting me. So originally I studied technical computer sciences back in the 1990s. And then I was actually working at Sun Microsystems for 10 years, largely IT-based project management. So I actually have a strong classical project management and technical background. And then, well, the Scrum thing came along, and I also got self-employed around 2009. And yeah, then I met Kanban, and I basically stayed with it since then. So that's me in very short. Oh, and I'm based here in Hamburg with my family. 3 kids now. So currently on parental leave, so not so much happening with Kanban. Too chaotic environment.
Yes.
And mainly doing training and Kanban consulting.
Okay, great. So you just said you discovered Kanban. Tell us your path on discovering Kanban. What was it like? How did you come across it?
It's actually interesting. I was at a big online retailer here in Germany at a big project where they revamped the whole store. And I took over the DevOps, so the infrastructure engineering team. And they also tried to establish a DevOps culture. And I was being told, all teams have to do Scrum. You need to help them do Scrum properly. And, initially I said, okay, sir, yes, sir, I'll try my very best. But it became clear very quickly that Scrum wasn't really the right choice for them, because the dynamic was way too high. We could never keep scope fixed for 2 weeks. So I started to look for alternatives, and I think I read David's book first, the Kanban, what's it called? The Blue Book, right? And then I think actually a few months later, David was in Berlin for the KCP masterclass, I think it was told at that time. And that was actually the first Kanban class I ever took. So, I started right with David. It was really interesting, and it definitely got me fixed. And that's how I ended up in Kanban land. I think it was 2014, 15-ish.
Okay, great. So, as you know, this is the 10th anniversary of Kanban University. How have you seen the community evolve over the last 10 years? I mean, you haven't been involved all 10 years, but certainly a large part of it. What have you seen in terms of the evolution of the community?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It was actually pretty awesome from the start, always very opening and welcoming. I feel over time, maybe, we've all matured a bit, I think it was a bit more nerdy at the beginning. They had a lot of, these deep data discussions and, all of these things and metrics. And now you have a lot more marketing. How do we get to people, or how can I, convince starters, or, explain things in really simple words. So I think we're definitely moved into mainstream land, and also acknowledging the needs of the others out there that but often are not as nerdy as we are, maybe. And we need to start at the beginning with them. So I think we have more basic discussions also lately. That's good.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. As on a related note there, as you say, we're moving from very, very high end to sort of mainstream. One of the roles you've had in Kanban University is evolving the Kanban University training materials, and you've also had a major role in the accredited Kanban consultant program, the highest end, that connects you from the starting point of the development path at the team Kanban practitioner to our highest end as the AKC. So what have you found that works to be able to communicate effectively to those at the beginning stages of Kanban, and then scale up to having conversations with AKCs that may challenge aspects of Kanban?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. So I think what is really helping is the different agendas, the Kanban agendas, and and I remember one thing that Janice said at the Train the Trainer class is have empathy with people in a team Kanban class, also people that are totally new to Kanban, you cannot like flood them with all kinds of information. You need to start, where they are, and also tell them, we will start where you are, and we'll start with baby steps, helping you see how you work, and then you can move forward. So I think in the basic classes, it's really important, to meet people and to start with the simple things, that they can understand Kanban, also doing simulations, for instance, so that they can really experience it. Because I think Kanban is really an abstract beast, so it's maybe not so easy to grasp initially, but once people have got it, then you can move on. And there was a second part to the question.
Todd. And how do you take that up to the level of the AKCs and having conversations to challenge Kanban?
That's actually, I just, I'm not sure if we really ever challenged Kanban itself.
Well, maybe challenge. It's part of our things at the KLR is to challenge ideas that may be something new. We're evolving the things as we go, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it helps that, like, for instance, people coming to KLR, they're all really into Kanban. So, we're starting from a very common ground. And I think that the good thing is that everyone just wants to, help grow this thing further and also, make it more widely known and so on. So actually I don't remember really bad, fights. It's always very constructive and open discussions and really lots of sharing different thoughts. So like, I like also that's a international community, I love meeting like with you American folks or, with the Eastern European ones and, Southern American, Spanish folks. It's really cool. And you can also see that in different parts of the world, people think maybe differently and do things differently. And that's always really cool to share and learn about the others, right?
That's great. Thank you. And as you said, you were on leave, but what are you doing with Kanban now or have been doing in the past bit? What's your passion in the area of Kanban? To really that when you get the time to work on it, what have you been doing?
Really, actually quite a lot of training. And it's always really cool. It's fun. We're looking forward also to doing the first Kanban maturity model classes, to really help educate more German KCPs. I think this is going to be fun. But also, I think it's really important to do coaching and coaching, consulting, and training at the same time. So actually, that's working pretty well to do this, when you have a client. So we think that proper Kanban education is actually key to good, to a solid Kanban implementation. So you need to do some myth busting usually when you get into, a new organization, and then it really helps because we want to have self-sustainment pretty soon, right? We don't want the organization to rely on us as their coaches or consultants. So in order to achieve this, it's really helpful to do some training with some key folks initially. And that's what we've been doing. So really since 2018, 19, we're doing 100% Kanban now. So, used to do lots of Scrum, but now, fully into Kanban. And if we get any Scrum requests, we send them to some folks in our network that we appreciate and that we know are much deeper into Scrum nowadays. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And lastly, what do you value most about the Kanban University community?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this already, right? So I think in general, they're very open and sharing. Also, running train-the-trainer classes is always really cool to learn. I did the training from the back of the room thing, for instance. And I heard about this from people also joining the train-to-trainer program, right? And they brought some exercises and they shared and we could try it out. And it was really cool. And generally, I think there's a lot of openness, and you can have, at the same time, you can have really highly intellectual discussions, but also lots of fun with people. So, I remember, a discussion about snails doing Kanban at the bar in, where was it? I think it was Seattle at the KLR. So, it's really cool.
Well, great. Thank you so much. Congratulations again on being named a Kanban University Distinguished Fellow.
Thanks. Really appreciate this, Todd. Thank you.